Tamas is essentially the principle of the material nature. And our body is material in nature, and its very foundation is tamas. So, in order to eliminate tamas, primarily there is one is to work directly with the body, other is to increase the energy, the prana shakti that is flowing through. We have three layers: the annamaya kosha, the hardware, the material layer of our being, the pranamaya kosha, the energy, then the manomaya, that is the software that is running the show. So tamas belongs to the hardware, the annamaya kosha. And that, as I mentioned, there are two ways to approach it. One is increasing the energy level. Other is through three different approaches. One is food, because the food adds or reduces tamas. So what type of food you are eating, and consciously choose food that increases the sattva, the lightness. And that depending upon the individual. Here again, we cannot make a universal formula that is applicable to every individual, because every body is unique in its degree of tamas, depending upon the context in which that body is woven. What type of genetic material wove that body, and what kind of food culture that you grew up with, that leaves its imprint in the body. So you need to look at, each individual has to look at which food is increasing tamas, which food is reducing tamas. So food is one layer that one has to personally observe and identify and eliminate. Second is exercise. That is what keeps the tamas away from the body. Regular, routine exercise. And here again, it's not necessary that you need to do asanas. That may not be appropriate for everyone. Someone who may have too much tamas may require much more vigorous exercises of sports, where the body is much more dynamic and active. So you need to choose an exercise that you enjoy, because enjoyment is very crucial. The body has to feel the joy of action. Every cell has to be filled with the joy. So for that, body need to act in the world through some sports, some physical activity, so that the body feels the joy. Then the third thing about body is sleep. If your sleep cycle is disturbed, and it can lead to either falling into tamasic cycles or excessive rajas, where you're not even able to sleep. So having a regulated sleep, where you are fixing your sleeping time as well as your waking up time, and there is a routine, there is a good rhythm. And one thing I recommend to everyone, whatever be the problem, is to have morning sunlight. Sunrise, first 1 hour, is a medicine for all purpose, all purpose medicine, whatever be, including tamas. Also look at, do you have an inspiring purpose in life? If you don't have an inspiring purpose, that is a ground for tamas to come and settle. It is the inspired purpose that can actually drive you out of all kinds of tamas. And not being able to get up in the morning is a problem mostly because often people don't have a reason to get up. And also, you have not consciously planted the idea what exactly you will do once you get out of the bed. If it is left to randomly form, then every day things are changing and mind doesn't have the clarity. So, in your dinacharya, the morning routine, if you design it consciously, these are the 5 things I will do first. To give an example, when I get out of the bed, first thing is I prepare the bed. It is clean. Then, second step, whether it is going to the toilet, whatever it is, that step, be clear. Third step, brushing. Or fourth step, drinking some warm water. What are the exact steps that you would do? And can you visualize these steps before you go to sleep? Or during your meditation, this is what I'm going to do. 5 a.m., I'm getting up. See yourself getting up, doing these things. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. So you're designing, you're planting the idea clearly in your subconscious so that in the morning when you're getting up, it pops up. And eventually it will become a drive that will get things done. And to also to see a greater purpose for yourself, reason to get up. You're preparing your body not just for yourself, but for a greater purpose. You're an instrument for a greater action in the world, and you have to tune the instrument, prepare the instrument. It is not just cutting stone, you are making a Taj Mahal. Having the big picture in mind, purpose of your life, purpose of getting up. It is not just to get up, it is preparing so that the instrument can build a Taj Mahal of your life. So, having an inspired vision will play a very, very important role in eliminating the tamas. Then, of course, the body, its food, its exercise, its sleep, all that needs to be addressed. Then comes the pranamaya deha, what we can do with that space. There are things like pranayama, for example, it is an intensifier of energy. But one issue with pranayama is that one should not be practicing pranayama without purifying morally, emotionally, because pranayama amplifies the energy. So if there is an impurity, it will amplify the impurity. So first thing is to purify your desires, cravings, becoming aware of these things. And this here again, in inspiring purpose. And healing the wounded heart will come into picture because a heart that is wounded will cripple the energy. Once your emotions are crippled, your energy will be crippled. So the healing of the heart is very important, even to get your energies awake. So the nourishment of the heart. So it is at the mind level comes the clarity of your higher purpose, reason for getting up, reason for doing it, and something that is beyond you, something for the world. You're participating in a greater purpose unfolding in the world. That will give you good drive to work through all this. Some people are bound by tamas, some are bound by fear. Different types of binding happens to different individuals. So tamas requires, and it can be systematically trained, but one has to be conscious and also see what type of media consumption, because often many media also induces tamas in you. It makes you couch potato. It's not inspiring. You can see certain, like you keep watching reels that are not necessarily bringing inspiration, but a short lived dopamine dose, a short lived happiness, a little laughter, and you keep scrolling, and you don't even realize half an hour, 1 hour it is going, and your energy level is going down. You're falling into tamas. And many people use that as a way to fall asleep because it drains them and then they fall asleep. Very bad habits. So dealing with tamas, so that it boils down to the purification of the instruments, purifying the body so that the body become lighter. So the correcting the food, correcting the exercises, and correcting the sleep cycle. These are the three things for the body. And for the pranamaya deha, purifying the heart and its reactions, energy and its reactions. That's a bit more complex than physical exercises because we are dealing with psychology, reactions, and developing the ability to witness the reactions and hold. And for that, a clear mind, a mind that understands why you do what you do, a clear rationale behind your choices. Without your mind having a clear understanding, other two instruments cannot function properly because you may do things that are born out of a wrong understanding. And it will trap you into tamas and stuff. So we start with the physical, but increasingly it becomes psychological and spiritual. Because ultimately, open to the divine grace, that is what eventually will open up, heal the heart, open up the tamas, and remove everything. So that's where gradually we need to go from physical practices to psychological practices to spiritual practice, where you develop faith in the divine grace and protection and guidance and learn to receive it. And that's a long journey. So there is a purification of the mind, purification of the prana, purification of the physical, annamaya, all that are required. And it's a vast field of study and understanding. So what we have given you as in the silver, like understanding the instrumental layers, understanding the common degeneration path. Once you understand that path, you can begin to regenerate it and also give you a sense of purpose in life. These are the two things that is given. And there is a balm meditation that will calm down. There was a question about turbulence. Balm meditation is a pre-recorded audio that will help you to calm down, to find stillness in the being. So you have the tools, you have the knowledge, practice you have to do. And again, things like balm is not meant for a one-time experiment. These are things that one has to continuously practice so that it begins to settle. The stillness settles, the wideness comes. Then the greater influx of energy can enter. Ultimately, it is the divine Shakti who will remove all the tamas and make you a dynamic instrument, deeply at peace. On one hand, there is deep stillness. On the other hand, there is a dynamism that is very quiet. But that's a journey to make. Wherever we are, we start the journey. Now I have a special invitation for you. For those who are sensing or feeling that you're going through some sort of an inner awakening, whatever be the label you put on it, we have designed a special workshop. It's a 2.5-hour online workshop happening on Sundays. It is to help you understand the very universal signs and stages of inner awakening. So once you understand it, you can know where you are in this process and consciously accelerate the journey. And workshop is not only about awakening, but it is also about karmayogi, becoming a karmayogi. That is yoga of action, means your everyday life activity itself is the means not only of your awakening, but also inner growth, spiritual growth. You don't have to withdraw from life. You can embrace life, and through the challenges and activities of life, you bloom, you grow into your better and better version, opening to your spiritual possibility.